hot seat, as we like to call it. So a couple questions. First off, you mentioned global standards. So how should that work operationally? How are you thinking about how the MRC should interface with different global organizations?
I think a lot of it is about open lines of communication. That's what we try to do when we come to ICOM. You know, we try to interact with different groups around the globe who are involved and invested in the same types of initiatives that we are. And that solves a lot of the problems, I think. If we all know what each other are doing, it allows us to do things in complementary ways. You know, again, as I said, recognizing that there are very legitimate reasons why detailed specifics may differ from one place to another, but you can build a broad-based system that then you can put different pieces in, and it'll still work in a fashion for the industry that reduces the friction.
Gotcha. And one of the things you touched on in your presentation was you're starting to accredit data. Can you talk about your strategy there?
Sure. We're looking at different types of data sources. Location is one example where we actually have formal standards in place. They've been published about a year ago. We put them out. And we have what are essentially a series of best practices on how to collect and report and exert quality control over that type of data. And we have a number of organizations in that space currently in the accreditation process that we're looking at, seeking validation against those standards. So for identity resolution, we are looking at developing standards in tandem with our auditing. We're learning. That chart I showed on how the process kind of works in a cyclical fashion is very relevant here. We're learning things as we look at what the practices of vendors are doing, and especially when we have the opportunity to see across multiple vendors, you are able to identify best practices, and without giving away proprietary information or intellectual property, you're able to build a framework by picking out pieces that are things that everybody should be doing, but not everyone is doing all of them.
Gotcha. And final question. Where do you see this going? Do you see areas that the MRC needs to move into, big areas of white space that need someone to come and audit and look at them?
Well, we have a pretty full plate as it is. We're a pretty small organization just in terms of the people we have, but we employ CPAs who are scalable to do auditing for us, and we have a broad membership base that I will say is becoming increasingly international as well. We have members from 4 continents now, which for the small MRC who's been in existence for 50 years, that's a pretty big deal. So I think we've got a plan. We've got areas we want to address. If there are things that are left after that, you know, we're more than willing to take them on, but we do have a plan to improve measurement and improve overall data quality.
Okay, well, thank you. Our time is up. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.